Egypt's ruling military council has declared a state of alert after last night's attack on the Israeli embassy in Cairo. 3 people are known to have died and more than 1,000 were wounded as protesters clashed with police and soldiers. 6 staff were taken to safety from the embassy and the ambassador has now returned to Israel. The violence erupted in response to an incident last month when 5 Egyptian guards were killed during an Israeli operation to repel cross-border raids. Simon Israel reports.
It was an act both of humiliation and alarm. Israel's flag being torn down by Egyptian protesters. They'd stormed the embassy building in Cairo and clambered over a balcony to get it. It was then thrown to the ground to cheers from protesters below.
I didn't care if there were any risks to my life. I was telling myself I'm ready to die for taking down the flag. I wanted to beat the enemies killing my brothers on the border. Those killing my brothers must all die.
This was the culmination of 3 weeks of protests since 5 Egyptian border guards were shot dead by Israeli soldiers. So far, there's been no apology. Egypt's ruling military council had hoped a hastily built concrete wall around the besieged building would be enough of a defence against the growing anger, but it wasn't. They used street signs, metal posts and hammers to break down the wall, which over the weeks had been daubed with anti-Israel slogans and painted in the colours of the Egyptian flag. As they pounded, Israel evacuated its ambassador, his family and other staff.
We are demanding that the ambassador does not come back to Egypt again. This is our country and the Israelis have hated us for ages. All we want is that he doesn't return here again.
All the while, the military and police did little to stop it, something which would not have happened under the old Mubarak regime. But all that changed last night in response to urgent calls both from Israel and the United States to the military rulers to protect the building. Suddenly, police were out in force. Firebombing by demonstrators was met with tear gas. 3 people were killed and over 1,000 wounded, according to Egypt's health ministry. Today there was a greater security presence, but the damage had been done. Egypt's information minister described events as a harsh day that inflicted pain and worry on all Egyptians. It threatens the revolution, he said, but no less perhaps than the continuing vacuum in leadership and the growing impatience with delays to the promised elections. This is no longer the country Israel had grown used to dealing with.